All right, let's see this. Most self-respecting men will be single with no girlfriend or friend circle. That's kind of a hot take. That's a bit of a hot take. Let's see.
I'll never fall into this boat of shaming men for having small social circles. I'll never fall into this boat of shaming men for not having a lot of friends and being single. Because I see way too many men nowadays getting in relationships, being around people who aren't even their.
Yeah, you got to not get demoralized and say, like, everybody sucks. I don't want any friends. Lone wolf maxing. It's not healthy. We're social creatures, guys. Yeah, this is like the epidemic of male loneliness. Almost, I don't know because I haven't seen this video, but you could come across and say there's a ton of this content that's like coping with loneliness, saying I'm better off alone. You're not. You're not, dude. Get in the private community. Get in the free community, too. Get in the community. Organize calls. It's such a mental release to be able to just speak to other people and hang out in the call. I'm telling you.
Real friends, just out of insecurity, just so they're not alone because they're not at peace with themselves being alone. You have to ask yourselves, these people that seem so happy on the surface level, they're a lot of the times the most miserable ones deep down because they're doing things for all the wrong reasons. Like I know so many men who are in relationships, who have been in relationships that overlook a bunch of red flags.
Also, that's a good point. All I do is work. Look, if you're in a phase, it's fine. Like you're in monk mode style stuff and you're grinding out really hard and you just don't have the time. Like I did the same shit when I started my business. I disappeared for a while. I disappeared for a good year and some change, just nonstop, dude, slaving away. And all my friends felt like I had rejected them. I was better than them. Look at this guy, you know, Mr. Businessman. He doesn't have time for us. And yeah, shit happens, especially when you have a girlfriend too. Your woman wants your time and your attention. So imagine trying to go in a monk mode when you have a woman. It's not easy, dude. If you're alone as a man, I think that's where you grind max it the fuck out. I think when you're alone is where you can get really militant with your time. Don't need friends, don't need shit temporarily. Hustle and get your dream body, get your business going, set up all your shit that you need to so you could coast it later in life. When you have a woman, shit's harder. Believe me, dude. Believe me. She wants dates. She wants you to take her out. She needs time. She needs attention. Needs. Throw in kids, even more needs. Throw in all this shit and then life starts to bog you down. And then, you know, it's a gift to be alone as a man also. Not really a curse, dude. It's a gift of having nothing but time and max control. And to be able to institute, we're talking transformative change in your life. But most guys look at it as a negative. Like, I'm alone. I have nobody. What the fuck do I do? Dude, what do you mean, brother? Brother, what do you mean? Now you grind. Now you go ham in the paint. Okay? What do you mean I'm alone? I can't do anything. I wish I had a girl. I don't want to hear that shit. Nobody's trying to hear that shit, bro. Grind it the fuck out. Women start to magnetize out. When you become when you become successful, when you're grinding every day, you start to notice people want to be in your presence. All of a sudden you get compliments at the gym. Well, you're looking shredded. All of a sudden that girl keeps coming around the machines you're using, the area you're lifting in. All of a sudden, people are all in your general vicinity trying to talk to you and shit. You give off that energy of being focused on your mission, all that shit. If you're constantly whining about what you don't have and what you're missing, your life's over, bro. You're in the wrong direction.
Start taking disrespect. They start getting walked all over. And every time it backfires, but they're miserable. In their personal lives, in their private lives, they're miserable. And even after the relationship, they're miserable. They start to develop a disdain against women because of the toxicity. And it's just crazy how there's a lot of this pressure and shame towards single men for not being in relationships when it's like you have to ask yourself, why would someone compromise their self-respect and self-restraint, by the way, which is part of being masculine, just to say they're in a relationship? That's living for other people's approval, not your own well-being. You know, the other thing I see too is this whole happy wife, happy life thing, which I've seen done a lot of damage on people. Because again, they seem to misunderstand dynamics. They seem to misunderstand masculine frame leadership. Like, I used to sell stuff on Facebook Marketplace. There's been countless times where I'm about to meet with a person. Last minute they say, oh, my wife isn't okay with me doing this. My wife isn't okay with me spending the money. My wife is not okay with me going and getting something to treat myself.
Damn.
Like, look, I can understand if it was a
Horrible.
mutual thing, like a dinner table for the family. Sure, you'd want to get the wife and kids' opinions.
No, bro, we're talking about men in a hellish life. Look, dude, you cannot lose who you are when you get a woman, and you need a woman that's along for the ride, down for your mission in life. If the moment you get a girl, she stops you from going to the gym, stops you from eating clean, is a bad presence to be around, like constantly is getting you to do shit that's getting you off of your grind, tilting you in life, get rid of that bitch. My woman doesn't drink alcohol, doesn't go out and party, doesn't smoke, is introverted as hates people, does her own nails at home, doesn't even go to a nail lady, cooks because she thinks it's all poison and Bill Gates is gay as trying to take over the world. Everything made at home from scratch. Like, that's what you need to get in your life. If she's not on the mission, next. And I know it's hard because obviously you're getting boxed and it's great for the intimacy and you have somebody, you know, you can connect with and you're not lonely anymore, but they're dragging you down. So many men, that's why they call them the old ball and chain. So many men willingly put the ball and chain because they're getting boxed. So that's why you hear so many dudes talking about my wife. I gotta ask my wife. Let me check in with the wife. Yeah, no thanks, bro. I'd rather jack off.
But when it's something for yourself, you shouldn't have your own happiness deterred just for someone else. And it happens nonstop. These men get walked all over. Like, I have a lot of friends of mine who are in relationships or have been in relationships, and they'll be in the car with me, and like, I overhear the conversations on the phone with them and their girlfriend. And just the disrespectful, demanding tone, the girl hangs up the phone on them literally every time. And I'm like, these men are taking disrespect on a daily basis just to say that they're in a relationship, or just because in a lot of cases they can't handle being alone.
That's true.
Which really gets me to that. My point is that people seem to not even understand what a real healthy friendship or relationship even looks like. It's not just about filling an empty void because you're insecure, because you can't handle being by yourself. The times I've been alone are some of the times where I've made the most progress in my life.
Told you.
Where I really was on my grind, where I really was locked in.
Told you.
I didn't have these kind of distractions or derailments. And that's my point with the happy wife, happy life stuff, with people who are haters. If you're going to surround yourself with those people, they're just going to derail you from your mission and purpose. And it's crazy too, even with friendships. Like, I've had many people that they'll call you bro, they'll shake your hand, they'll dab you up. You'll even know their family and people close to them. But deep down, they're just haters. They don't want to see you do well. They might want to act like they want to see you do well up into a certain baseline, which that baseline usually being where they're at in life. They don't want to see you do beyond them in a lot of cases. I mean, that's again why I think it's good to be close with your family, why it's good to be close with your parents. When I hear a lot of this talk of being out of the house at 18 and going across the country and going across the state, again, some weird societal pressure. Understand something that's not normal in most parts of the world. But your father, your biological father, or even stepfather,
the only man that ever wants to see you winning, bro. I don't get this American weirdo shit that's going on. I'm not close with my dad. Dude, it's American families are strange to me. I call my parents every single week, sometimes multiple times a week at least. Yeah, if you don't know your dad, that's something different. But there's like weird, estranged relationships Americans have made completely normal with their family. I only talk to my parents on New Year's or holidays. What the fuck's wrong with you? Are you kidding me? That's so unnatural. And you go in any part of the world, dude, family is all that matters. Family is all that you got. And it's so nonchalant in the United States where people will be like, yeah, I talked to my parents like last year. I haven't talked to my dad in 2 years. What the fuck is that even? What are you doing? That's not a flex. That's actually concerning. Are you okay? Oh, the only man that ever wants to see you do better than him, literally your father. Yeah. My dad low-key hating on me. Dude's weird. What the hell? Yeah, look, not everybody's got great parents. That's true. But usually, more often than not, your parents are literally the only people in the world that has your back will accept you when you fuck up, when you got nothing, when you need help. There for you, up or down, doesn't matter. Yeah. Others, they come and they go. On occasion, you will meet some people that are not related to you, of course, friends you call your brothers in life. I have a couple of those, of course, that I could call, pick up the phone. Time can go by like 5 years, doesn't matter, as if nothing ever changed. You know, you could ask them to bury a body if you needed to. It's really rare, but you can find those people that are pretty much like family, if not even greater than family in that sense. So,
Are some of the few people, perhaps the only person in your life, a man who is going to get genuine joy out of seeing you do better than them, out of seeing you growing up with in a better predicament than they did. You know, and I understand there are some cases where I've heard of toxic family members, and it's a shame. But for the most part, that's the truth. Your father is one of the only people who is going to get genuine joy out of seeing you do better than them. That's why I'm so against a lot of the distancing yourself from family. Like, I even have a friend of mine from India who I knew from the gym, and I think he's in his 40s, but he lives with his mom. He cares for her, right? He takes care of her. And
that's a little
there was
extreme.
a girl he was talking to, and she basically said, "Oh, I'm not coming."
All right, 40s, we're pushing it. We're pushing it at 40s, okay? Now it becomes a detriment in your dating life because your parents are now kind of dragging you down. Like, your parents are not supposed to drag you down like that, okay? There's a limit here.
Over and hanging out with you because your mom's in the house. I'm like, so you expect this man to put you, a girl he's only known for a number of weeks, over his own mother who brought him into this world, who raised him, took care of him when he was sick as a kid. You expect him to drop that and put you above her. I mean, how entitled are some women nowadays? That's crazy to me. How entitled are some people? And I see a lot of men making that mistake. They get with a girl who they've only known for a number of weeks or months, and all of a sudden they drop their mission and purpose. They've dropped spending time with friends and family that they've known their whole life.
Power of the box.
And they wonder why they're getting disrespected in their relationships. They wonder why the dynamics are so off.
Power of the
it's
box.
just totally backwards. Like, even the last girl one of the last girls who I talked to, who I was going to go on a date with.
Yeah, but you know what? It's natural for women to push like that because it's their job to find the weakness in you. And if a man accepts being isolated like that, who else could you possibly blame? All women do this. Some women more than others, some much less. That's true, but they all do it. All of them want to be number one. All of them want to be put before everybody. They want to be on the pedestal. It's your job as a man to not let that shit happen. Yes, it's constant, bro. It's a shit test. It's nature at work. It's not like there's some evil ploy at work here where she's trying to undermine you. It's just natural. It's your job, though, to not take women seriously like that. Because if you do, it leads to your own destruction. Like, this is how you lose your identity. This is how you lose the respect in your relationship. This is how your woman ends up cheating on you. This is how she turns into the whole chameleon thing that guys talk about. Your woman changes based on how much you change for her. You understand that? Like, that's one of the little golden principles. Your woman will change based on how much you change for her. So the less you change, the more she stays the same. You understand? That's what it is. Too many guys get into the relationships and they turn into completely different humans. And now you're just a figment of her memory of the man that she started dating. And then you're surprised while she's like 10 dudes behind your back. It's like, brother, you're not the same man anymore. You let her mold you into whatever she wanted. You became her bitch. You stopped working out. You stopped being interesting. You stopped telling her no. You started treating her as your equal. You stopped leading her. You're not interesting. You're not anything to be tamed. You got tamed and beyond. You're a slave. So she treats you like one.
I met her at a memorial, and I touched on this in a previous video. Sadly, one of my friends passed away at the age of 30. He was doing things to his body that he shouldn't have been doing, I'll put it that way. But I met this girl at the memorial. She hit me up on Instagram, and we were talking. I was going to meet up with her, but...
Yeah, dude, you just can't fold. Look, she puts those huge titties in your face, box all in your hand, the honey walls, super sugary, very nice, and then you lose your mind and your boundaries. That's what it is. Resist. You must resist. The more you resist, the more sugary the walls remain. The less you resist, the more you give in, the drier the sugar walls. Just remind yourself, when she tests you, when she starts problems, when she asks for things, when she wants too much of your time, when you know she can't get your time and you give it to her anyways, I don't want her to be mad. The sugar walls are drying up. Let her be mad. Let your time be sparse and rare. She's got to earn it. If she's got access to you all the time, if she gets you to do whatever she wants, how the is the sugar walls going to stay sugary?
I blew off those plans because I came to find out that she was in a relationship with a man who was in the army. He was not in the country at the moment. She was at his apartment, driving his car and taking care of his daughter, which, by the way, was not her daughter. And I'm like, why would any man settle for a woman like that? And even with the hookup culture stuff, because I know a lot of men who struggle with lust, who have struggled with lust, and they acknowledge that problem. You know, I talked about that and try to help them, but they acknowledge that it's an issue. But even if you're into that kind of stuff, why would you reduce yourself? Why would you make a fool of yourself of doing anything with a woman like that? I mean, it's crazy to me, especially with relationships. You see some of the red flags. If she's doing that to that man, why would you expect her to do any differently? She's going to do the same to you, bro. Like, that's the truth. It's just wild how, you know, we have, and again, me and a lot of men have these kind of conversations about dating traditional women and that kind of stuff. And my thing is this: what I've come to conclude is that if it's not going to lead to anything serious, if it's not a girl that
Yeah, like that conversation in the private community, if you guys watched the Borefik channel, it was like 50 minutes. I just posted it up yesterday. And you'll see what I mean when a guy finally gets some box after, you know, being on a mean dry spell and maybe shit's not going for him right in life. And it's like that sunk cost fallacy. The rarity of the difficulty of getting poon consistently is so high for men that when you finally get it, that you feel like in order to keep it, you have to sacrifice so much of yourself to keep her happy. Ironically, is the exact thing that dries her poon up and you lose it in the first place. So it's like, if you listen to that conversation and see this dude's dealing with soon-to-be single mother, crazy ex, massive amounts of damage. Why? And he's a young dude, handsome dude. Why would a young, handsome dude be dealing with that? Because, bro, I've been lonely for a while now, and it's just nice to have somebody around. It's a choice. Men put themselves in this. If poon was easily accessible, like everybody could just get it at the same level of ease as a woman, most men would be just as picky as women. They would not be putting up with any of this shit. The way a woman is like scrolling past you on a dating app because your shirt was blue. That's it. She's like, I hate the color blue. Next. It's because she has access to so much dick. She could be that stupid in selection. But a man doesn't have nowhere near enough of that unless you've maxed your stats out. So, you know, only a few select men will ever get to have that kind of feeling and status. But for everybody else, you got to put in a ton of work. You finally get a little bit of the scraps. I'm not trying to give up the scraps. That's the feeling most men have. I barely got scraps after working hard. I'm not letting go of the scraps. Hey, bro, it's not healthy for you. I don't give a f***. I got scraps now, at least. What do you mean if men could choose, our race would die? What do you mean? Dude, I remember in college when I was dating chicks and I would see blue check marks. Before you could buy them, you had to actually be a famous person. That shit was crazy. I remember this one chick I was talking to. She had a song made about her from some famous R&B singer in California. I can't remember what the fuck that guy's name is. My jaw was on the floor when I was looking at her private messages. She was just showing me. She's like, yeah, and you know that song by this guy? And it's like a tier 1, like A-list celebrity at the time. That was like topping all the charts. Forgot what the fuck his name was. Dude had a song made of her. And I'm broke college boy. And I'm smashing this same chick. And I'm like, holy f***. I was like, wow, I'm competing. Yeah. Normally, most guys would be absolutely put off by that and like become insecure. But I was like, holy f***, I'm on this level. I'm messing with chicks that she's got nothing but blue check marks in her DMs. But that also gave me like an insight of, holy f***, dude, if this chick's got blue check marks, what is going on with all the other ones? The competition's insane.
I could see myself introducing to my parents or marrying or having raised my kids down the line. It's a waste of time. And even a lot of the guys I know who are, you know, going to raves and going to nightclubs and getting with girls and all that kind of stuff, they at least acknowledge, like, that's a waste of time. They know that. Again, everyone has their vices. No one's perfect, but they at least are humble enough, at least when they talk to me about it, they're humble enough to acknowledge that it is a waste of time. That's why you see a lot of men that are going to stay single. Like another time, most recently, the date I went on, I met this girl, and again, I was making plans of, hey, let's meet this time at this place. And she wanted to go in and change stuff, to like challenge me or take the lead and that kind of stuff. And it's crazy because you almost have to be like,
thanks for the sub.
You almost have to be like toxic in a way just to have the dynamics be somewhat normal in a relationship. Again, it shouldn't have to be that way. Like, I don't want to have to be crazy and super this and that. You should be able to just be masculine, be stoic, be normal, and not have to play these hurdles and games. Like, she's just trying to test me or whatever that was, but she wanted to meet like 7 hours earlier at a different place. And then when I finally did end up getting to meet with her, it was almost like you were talking to a man, like someone trying to be a father figure. It was not feminine at all. And
yeah, I don't think guys start getting control of their dick until like, what, their 30s, you'd say? I think in the past, probably a couple of years now, being in my mid-30s, I think now I have far more control than I ever had. I remember 25, 22 is an absolute joke. Poonhound, all I could think about, just chicks around me. I felt like a dog, like a shark smelling blood. Now, full on control. Box is box. It's attached to the same annoying bitch. Been there, done that, seen it all. I don't know if I was single right now, if I would even want to entertain a bitch like that. I don't know. Like, go back on that. No thanks, dude. All these dates and pretend to give a bricked up 24 hours a day, nonstop. Shit was annoying, bro. It's a distraction. It's hard to get shit done. Yeah, and it's a struggle. It really is. And I think in the 30s is where you start to really calm down, think clearly, and actually start developing plans and shit and start getting ahead and stop wasting so much money on hoes. And God, the amount of time I wasted, I could have been something. That's kind of time. Or the amount of parties in college, the amount of trips to Vegas, the stupid story. I guess they all led to this shit, but geez Louise, had we put in the effort into something else.
And believe me, guys, I'm someone that is on their masculine frame. I'm not someone who's going to compromise and be disrespected and walk all over. So why would I be in a relationship with someone like that? And that's such a common occurrence nowadays. You know, even when me and my friends will talk about where to meet good women, because again, I don't want to be pessimistic. I want to be I want to be living in reality.
After seeing the right-wing trad girl thoughts, all this bullshit, I don't even know what answer to give you. That's a good question. Where do you go? I have only two communities that come in mind where you want a decent women: Mennonites and the Amish. That's it. Christianity cucked out of your mind. The churches are cucked out of their minds. You're gonna get girls that or getting pumped and dumped and pretend born-again virgins, and it's all a grift. They want to be stay-at-homes to get bailed out of all their bad decisions. They can't hack it at work. They don't want the corporate lifestyle. And, yeah, those are closed communities, right? How do you get into the Mennonites? I have no idea how you become Mennonite. But I know the Amish, yeah, you're not getting in there. Well, you could. I don't know. I don't even know. It seems like those are the only communities, though, where they're producing decent women, and they're obviously have taken themselves out of dealing with modern society. You can join the Amish. There you go. That's your only hope, bro. I think dating strategy in the future for men is going to be something akin to this. No more relationships. No, marriage is dead, period. Marriage is dead. You're going to pick a couple of women that you want to have kids with, and that's essentially that. You're going to keep smashing chicks from age 20 to 26 for eternity until you die. And then you're going to have a couple of like tier 1 breeders that you put kids in. And this is your dating strategy for the future. Marriage is dead. Religion is dead. The modern woman has killed all of that. Having kids with a woman today, headache for the most part. The system doesn't reward marriages. Yeah, it's a death sentence. And who wants to be tied to a modern woman that has feminist beliefs, even if she comes off as traditional? Like I said, the Overton window is so far shifted left that even a conservative woman today is a raging lib. So you have to be with a raging lib for the rest of your life that could change your mind and go even crazier on your ass. It's not going to work. Are they out there? Sure, dude. There's great women out there. Sure. In some random boony part of America, maybe. or some woman that was raised by a great family in a traditional lifestyle that's rejected modernity, sure. But if you want to do the needle in a haystack shit, by all means, good luck with you. Is it worth it? Of course, if you can. Is it hard to get? Increasingly impossible, it seems. So if I were single and I had to start right now, that's probably what I would do. If I had to stay in the West, that's probably what I would do. Pumping and dumping, age range 20 to 25, doing the whole, what's that actor's name? The dude that only dates chicks that are 25-year-old or 25 and less. I forgot his name. Leo DiCaprio. Yeah, DiCaprio. I do the Leonardo method. That's what I was doing in college. Age range 20 to 25 or 19 to 25. And that's it, dude. And you're rotating until they start to get bored of you, until they start to get a attitude, until they start to forget everything you provide. They take you for granted. They no longer appreciate you. Replace their ass with another 20 to 25-year-old. And you keep going down that path over and over and over. And that's it. It just doesn't seem worth it. I don't think you could gift to the bot. But the DiCaprio method was what I was doing naturally in college. I just saw back then anything over 25 was mentally damaged from too much dating, pump and dump and all that shit. 25 was the absolute limit. And it seems like with the TikTok brain rot of today, it seems like most women are damaged now starting at 18 and up. And if anything, what I noticed when I was in Eastern Europe, the 18 to like 21-year-olds, you could say, were way more damaged than the chicks that were like 25 to 30. That was for Europe only, though. In the United States, there's no point. It's just damage all around, so just go younger. Yeah, it's just wrecked, dude, all around.
But I of course, I do think there's good women out there. I know people who are happily married and stuff like that. But my point being is that a lot of the times people talk about places like college, which I'm not of college age anymore. They talk about libraries, church, and that kind of stuff.
Philippines,
which
is
great. I'm all for it. But even in those settings,
Passport Bros managed to ruin the Philippines and Thailand in like record time, huh?
You still have to have your guard up. You still have to have.
They brought like Western simping there, and now even the so-called traditional girls there operate like prostitutes.
Very good discernment. There was a girl who I was talking to when I was in university, and some of the stuff coming out of her mouth, I'm telling you, the most vulgar, like online movie stuff, video stuff you could think of. I don't even need to go into detail about what I mean by that. And by the way, this was a girl claiming to be a virgin, which that was probably a flat out lie. But it's just become a very common occurrence. Most self-respecting men are going to see that and not want to play part in it. You shouldn't care about what people think anyway. You sure as heck shouldn't get into a relationship because of some pressure. Because again, I see a lot of that shaming too. Unfortunately,
thanks for
a lot of it coming from men of, oh, you haven't been with a girl in this long, this kind of stuff.
Yeah, the Sarah Stock shit is the absolute worst. Imagine being engaged to her over 6 months. She won't have sex with you for 6 months because you're waiting for your nice Catholic marriage. In this entire 6 months, she's getting railed at her boss's secret apartment where he sends all his concubines. You pay your wife, your fiance, your trad Catholic fiance. You pay your trad Catholic fiance her Uber to her boss because she's going to go work on some project. The project is his thumb in her ass and her intestines getting rearranged. That's the project. And then you find out the day before you're supposed to consummate your marriage that she's been getting absolutely destroyed by her boss day in and day out. And it is for the world to see. And, oh my God, let's just jump into that one. So there's this Daily Mail. I was going to cover it by itself, but that's perfect. MAGA star's marriage on the rocks after the boss was quoted as best sex ever with the Christian podcaster mistress who shot to fame by ironically railing against premarital relations. Oh, just right there. You're the husband. You pick up the phone and you look at this. This is what pops up in your news feed. Oh, bruh. Game over. Ends life right there. My marriage is shit. It's over, bro. So it says a MAGA influencer went into a meltdown claiming his wife and kids were kidnapped. So this was Elijah Schaffer. This is the piece of shit that cheated on his wife and kids at home, right? And then it goes further on. It says, where was this? His meltdown led to salacious claims about his personal life being leaked online. Okay, this is him. I don't know why they put Israeli flags here. That's funny. But this is wife he had at home. He's got 2 kids, dude, and a baby. Marriage dead. She took all the kids and ran off. This is him flexing. Flexing, bro. Flexing on his marriage. Golly. Doesn't know where his wife and kids went. I don't know. Maybe you shouldn't have been cheating on her ass, dude. Don't know where my wife and kids are. So they said he was writing some crazy shit that his kids and his wife, his family got kidnapped. That's not what happened, bro. You were cheating on her. Calm down. Okay. And so then it goes further on. He's a victim of a serious targeted felony crimes. Okay. He's just trying to get out of everything that's going on. Posted a bizarre video of himself wandering around a flooding hotel. Like he was under the influence. Okay. Where's the funny shit at? Oh, yeah. Affair with 21-year-old underling. Here we go. The most damaging among the claims about Schaffer's personal life was his 5-month affair behind his wife's back. Schaffer is said to have cheated on Kezia with a podcaster, Sarah Stock, now known as Sarah Setka, who worked for his media company, Rift TV, when he was just cracking a 21-year-old. Oof. Golly. Stock was at the time dating her now husband, Will Setka, 28, a political organizer at a community action network, a charity that helps Americans escape poverty. What a good chud, bro. Bruh. Oh. Okay. The alleged affair ended immediately after Setka proposed in August. 3 sources close to Schaffer told the Daily Mail. They got married in January, and Stock changed her name to Sarah Setka online. A recorded call between Stock and another man made late last year explained that she and Schaffer had sex the night they met at the Conservative Political Action Conference. Shit. Your wife is smashing first day the boss. Bruh. Oh boy, dude, you gotta wait. You gotta wait though for months until you can consummate your marriage. Stock claims she was drunk. Bitch, for 5 months you got drunk? Phooey. Okay. It was obviously my fault too. Damn. But I felt like it was what? It was like he got me intoxicated. No accountability. I don't even remember most of it. 5 months you don't remember? Wow. There she is. The devil incarnate. Hell, bro. This was her. She's like, I'm getting married. Just dodging shit. I got this. Wedding rings. Husband in the background. I got this. Just nightmare scenario all around. Look at this. Oh my God. C-packed for 5 months. Bro. Jeez Louise. Don't trust them women that dye their hair blonde. Bruh. Oh, my Lord. This is horrendous. I was like breaking out in a rash. And so he was like, oh, get some Benadryl. It'll help with the rash. Now I'm thinking back and that's probably why I blacked out. Bitch. She's blaming the Benadryl, okay? And like, obviously, it's stupid on my part to go along with that. But at the same time, obviously, he knew what he was doing. Bruh. Oh, my Lord. Oh, my Lord, dude. Stock claims Schaffer told her he was in an open marriage, which she believed at the time, but later discovered wasn't true. What? What kind of shit is this? He was like, my wife doesn't care. She lets me run free. Listen to me. Even if that was the case, aren't you married and a trad cath and making your husband wait? What? Okay. It ate me up for a long time. I felt very bad about it still, she said in a recording. I'm not a slut. Oh. I don't know if her husband would agree with that. I mean, it's like horrible thing, but it's not like I'm sleeping around or have been. What the fuck were the last 4 months? Oh my Lord, dude. This is like gaslight level 9000 supreme shit right here. Stock said she planned to keep it a secret from Setka and her friends, telling the man on the call, "I'm not telling anyone." Oh my Lord. Thumb in booty hole. Guts rearranged. 5 months. You Ubered her to the apartment. Other sources close to Schaffer said the pair frequently had sex, sometimes multiple times a week, including after company events. Oh my. This is some of the worst shit imaginable. He and Sarah met in New York City one time. He took her out for some fancy date to give her an example of how she should be treated. Bro is cucking the husband out next level. Oh, and also dropped a ton of cash on clothes for her. Whoa, dude. Wow. Elijah would describe Sarah as the best he ever had. Your boss, bro. You didn't even get to crack. This is him. This is the husband. Bruh. You didn't get to crack the best that dude's ever had. He got her. Imagine if she was actually, she probably lied about being a virgin with the boss, but imagine he cracked that really, the first. My man. They would FaceTime all the time too. It was really weird because Elijah would flex on the phone and put his arm over her head so he could show, over his head so he could show off his muscles. Damn, Setka was kept in the dark primarily by Stock, claiming her trips to Florida and evening liaisons with Schaffer were entirely work-related. Dude, I don't have enough. I don't have enough. This is horrible. This is like public humiliation levels of shit. Multiple sources described a time Setka even paid for a taxi for Stock to go to Schaffer's hotel at night because she claimed they needed to work on something. Wow. I need to go late night. We're working on an extremely important project. We're going for a new world record. How many orgasms I could have in the span of 1 hour. Bruh. This is horrendous. This is the most horrendous shit you have to read. This is like nightmare. This is like nightmare scenario shit right here. Two of the sources explain that Schaffer secretly rented a second property in addition to the couple's home in Boca Raton, where he would stash Stock, bro. I got this. Oh my God, he had it. He had it 100%. Stashing your wife in the apartment. They said Schaffer even took his sons to the apartment and used the eldest one as an alibi. Bruh. No morals. He'd get the kids to lie for him. Bruh. He'd get the toddler to say, "Oh, we went to the office," but really, he was taking them over to the apartment to rearrange guts. Wow. This is it. This is your trad cath. Look at her. Take a good look. Nice, young, and pretty. Very, very impressionable. All the chuds online, the incels, the virgins, all of them that see blue eyes, blonde hair, and then you want to simp. That's what you're simping for. Oh, look at that. Oh my God, so orthodox. You see that? Look. What a beautiful little angel. Beautiful. Holy shit, dude. She had long suspected Schaffer was having affairs, but she didn't know. This is the wife, huh? Kez found out about Sarah with the rest of the world. Stock's dalliance with her boss is particularly ironic, as she spent the past year being a vocal opponent of premarital sex and shaming women who do it. Holy shit. Another tweet read, sex is bad for the soul outside of his intended purpose. Oh my God. Oh my Lord. I've never seen this level of hypocrisy. Real Christian. Oh, we're invoking real Christians here. Real Christians. Okay, real Christian men want to get married because sex outside of marriage is a sin, regardless of whether or not you committed a sin before she tweeted last July. Bruh. Can this article even get worse? Stock also insisted she was a virgin on multiple podcasts, bro. Bruh. And according to colleagues, made Setka wait until they were married. Bruh. All while having an affair with Schaffer. This is nightmare. The oblivious Setka proposed to Stock in August, and she posted a photo of the engagement ring in her hand with the caption, "I won." I don't think the husband thinks that. I think the engagement came because Setka suspected that Elijah was pursuing her. Because it was very quick, like all of a sudden, like she was engaged, it was out of nowhere. God damn, the boss moving in on your... This is why I told you. Do not... If your woman's got a job, that's not your woman. Your woman's on the internet, that's not your woman. She satisfied the two foundational principles of the modern woman today, and so she belongs to the streets. Okay? Stock converted to Catholicism in April. Oh, no shit, Sherlock. Sharing a photo of herself with the priest who administered the conversion ritual. After they married in January, they went on a honeymoon to Europe, that including a trip to the Vatican where they had their marriage blessed by Pope Leo. Oh my Lord. Catholics in shambles right now. Look at this shit. It's all an act. It's all fugazi. Unbelievable. A photo showed Stock in a white wedding dress alongside Setka as they spoke with the Pope. Highly recommended. Or highly recommend getting your marriage blessed by the Pope, she wrote. Setka did not return phone calls from the Daily Mail. Wow. Of course she didn't. Stock did not outright deny the affair after the salacious claims spread online. Instead, made a vague apology on Wednesday. Here's the apology. Where is it? Oh, I apologize to everyone who's been scandalized by this. Please pray. Logging off for now. That's it. That's it. You can't apologize publicly to your husband. She deleted all her social media accounts hours later. She retreated away from the internet. God damn. That's all. That's how it ends, with a fart. She could not be reached for further comment. There's the Pope blessing her. Look at the face. Look. That's how you look down on the peasants. Do you see this? Not even the Pope. Not even the Pope blessing your marriage could humble this bitch. Look at this shit. That's like a demon incarnate right there. Look at this shit. Oh, man. This dude's life is now spiraled out of control. Imagine you threw this away, bro. You threw it all away. Look at what you threw away. You threw this away. Damn. Sad. See how men do it to themselves? You were winning, bro. You were winning. Damn, Annie's a massive shit. Look at him. He cut off all her bank accounts, his wife, and took all their money and left her with nothing. Whoa. The only thing she cares about is full custody, to see him as little as possible. No one trusts the guy with the kids. He's also trying to threaten her back into a relationship. This is going to bankrupt us. You're under demonic influence. Think about the kids. That sort of stuff. Holy f***. Wow. Horrendous, down bad. Damn. All right. What's this guy say? Oh, can't play that. Dude, this is the biggest crash and burn I've ever seen. This is horrible. It doesn't get worse than this. Wow. Cold world out there. Hey, the red pill offers the truth and the truth only. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less, dude. Do with it what you will.